Welcome. May I have a move and a seconder to call this meeting to order? Mike and Henry. That this Committee of Adjustments meeting held on June 26, 2024, come to order at 6 p.m. All in favor? Carried. Are there any disclosure of pecuniary interest this evening? Seeing none. May I have a move and a seconder to adopt the previous minutes? Henry and Mike. That the Committee of Adjustments meetings dated May 22nd, 2024 be adopted as presented. All in favor? Carried. Welcome to this Committee of Adjustments meeting to allow the public an opportunity to express their views regarding the proposed minor variances and consents within the Township of Springwater. Each applicant and their agent, if applicable, will be given the opportunity to present the application to the committee and public. Additional information on each of the application, including any presentation materials, is available in the committee agenda on the township's website. Following those members of the public who registered to make an oral submission prior to 5:30 p.m. June 25, 2024, will be given the opportunity to do so. All oral submissions will be included in this meeting's minutes and form part of the public record, including the name and address of the speaker as information collected under the Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. The minutes of the meeting will be posted on the township's website. All comments or questions should be addressed through the chair. Application 1. Will the Secretary Treasurer please introduce the first application, item number 4.1 on the agenda?
Thank you, Chair. Item 4.1 on the agenda is minor variance application A1624 submitted by M. McIntyre regarding lands known municipally as 3042 Old Second Road South. The purpose of the application is to permit an additional residential unit in an existing detached accessory building with a maximum total gross floor area of 162.9 square meters that will result in the exceedance of the total gross floor area provision of bylaw 5000. The effect would be to permit a maximum total gross floor area of 162.9 square meters, whereas section 3.48.3A permits a maximum of 115 square meters and not more than 40% of the primary dwelling gross floor area.
Have any additional correspondence and or comments been received?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, comments have been received from the Severn Sound Environmental Association, the Nottawasaga Valley Conservation Authority, and the County of Simcoe, all stating no concerns.
Can I please have the applicant introduce themselves and provide comment, if any?
Hi, my name is Linda. I am the agent for Madison Taylor for her property. So as Council mentioned, we are asking for an additional 515 square feet. And you know, the primary residence is 701 square meters, and this ancillary building would be about 23% of that square footage. And the zoning bylaw also details requests that it is about 40% of the square footage. So I feel like, we're under, and, I read the report and glad to hear that council is supportive. And I just feel like the council did a great job of explaining everything in the planning report. And if anyone has any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you. Are any members of the
Good evening, Chair. There are no members of the public who have registered to make an oral submission.
Thank you. Sorry, we have an echo here. Thank you. Are any additional members of the public in attendance this evening to make an oral submission? Seeing none. Thank you. Do any members of the committee wish to comment or have any questions concerning the application? May I have a motion from one of the committee members for application A16/24? Steve,
Through you, Madam Chair, I move to motion to approve the application as per the recommendation of staff. Thank you.
may I have a seconder? Brad? That the Committee of Adjustments, having given consideration to the applicable provisions of Section 45 of the Planning Act, the official plan of the Township of Springwater, the characteristics of the land in question and its surroundings as addressed in the planning report on the application dated June 26, 2024, the correspondence received and information presented at the hearings held on June 26, 2024, and the discussion on the matter hereby approve application A16/24. All in favor? Carried. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
Application 2, will the Secretary Treasurer please introduce the next application, item number 4.2 on the agenda?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 4.2 on the agenda is minor variance application A17/24 submitted by R. Huber regarding lands known municipally as 2331 South Ore Lake Road. The purpose of the application is to permit the construction of an additional residential unit measuring 230 square meters with a height of 6.1 meters, which would result in the exceedance of the total maximum area provisions in zoning bylaw 5000. The effect would be to permit a maximum total area of all accessory buildings or structures of 240 square meters, whereas section 12.3.9A permits a maximum total area of accessory buildings or structures shall be 115 square meters, and a maximum detached accessory residential unit area of 230 square meters, equating to 71.1% of the total gross floor area of the primary dwelling, whereas section 3.48.3A permits a maximum of 40% of the total gross floor area of the primary dwelling.
Have any additional correspondence and or comments been received?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, comments have been received from the Severn Sound Environmental Association stating no natural heritage concerns. However, the property owners are responsible for ensuring that any activity being undertaken does not contravene any applicable laws or legislation or local regulations and are responsible for obtaining any required permits or clearances. The Nottawasaga Valley Conservation Authority stating no concerns. The County of Simcoe Planning Department stated that they generally do not have any objections. However, the additional residential unit appears to be located within the forested area and suggests completion of a scoped environmental impact statement or consideration should be given to relocating the proposed additional residential unit in the existing cleared area. And the County of Simcoe Transportation and Engineering Department stating no record of an entrance permit for the existing entrance and that an entrance permit be obtained.
Can I please have the agent introduce themselves and provide comment if any? Want to come to the front?
Good evening. I'm Roland Huber. I'm here with my wife, Becky. So the purpose of this residential unit is to provide housing for my daughter, her partner, and two children. They're currently in a house that we purchased a couple of years ago in Elmvale. The challenge is that the oldest grandson has special needs, and the house that they're in will not allow for his walker, his the things that he needs to exist. So we've looked at it with kind of the most cost-effective way for us to try to help them out is this residential unit that we're proposing. What puts it over is at doing a full height basement instead of just a crawl space. That's our intent. Is wouldn't be finished, but it's there at this point in time.
Thank you. Are there any members of the public registered to make an oral submission?
Thank you. There are no members of the public who have registered to make an oral submission.
Thank you. Are there any additional members of the public in attendance this evening to make an oral submission? Seeing none, thank you. Do any members of the committee wish to comment or have any questions concerning the application? Steve?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So first questions for staff. So just reviewing the report here, and it talks about the maximum floor area of all accessory buildings. So what is the total of all the accessory buildings on the property, including the proposed and any other accessory structure on the property?
Thank you, Member Farquharson, through you to the rest of committee. So it's 240 square meters for all accessory structures on this property. So it's 230 square meters for the ARU component. And then it was 9.9 square meters for a shed that also currently exists on that property.
Follow on?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I mean, my concern is that what's being proposed is significantly higher than what the bylaw allows for. I can understand the need for it from the applicant. However, in my opinion, I don't think it meets the one test for a minor variance if it meets the intent of the zoning bylaw for the, it's 100.6 square meters larger than what's allowed. So to me, it's a little bit too high over what the bylaw allows. So unfortunately, I will not be able to support the application as proposed. Thank you.
Any other comments? Steve?
Just to put it out there, I am fine with what's proposed, so I'm happy to make the recommendation to approve this when we get to that point.
Any other comments?
I have no objection to the proposal.
May I have a motion from one of the committee members for application A 17/24? Steve? Brad, sorry, you switched seats, so I got confused.
She's asking you.
You can go right, I mean, Brad, go ahead. I did it.
I would like to move that the application for the variance be approved as per the staff report.
A seconder? Mike? That the Committee of Adjustments haven't given consideration to the applicable provisions of Section 45 of the Planning Act, the official plan of the Township of Springwater, the characteristics of land in question and its surrounding as addressed in the planning report on the application dated June 26, 2024, the correspondence received and information presented at the hearing held on June 26, 2024, and the discussion of the matter hereby approve application A 17/24. All in favor? Denied? Opposed, I mean? Carried.
Thank you.
Application number 3, will the Secretary Treasurer please introduce the next application, item number 4.3 on the agenda?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 4.3 on the agenda is minor variance application A 18/24 submitted by the Elmville and District Food Bank regarding lands known municipally as 62 Young Street North. The purpose of the application is to allow a shipping container to be located in the side yard of the property, whereas section 3.50.3B states that a shipping container may only be located and used in a rear yard.
Have any additional correspondence and or comments been received?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, comments have been received from the Severn Sound Environmental Association and the Nottawasaga Valley Conservation Authority, both stating no concerns.
Can I please have the applicant introduce himself and provide comment if any? Thank you. Are any members of the public registered to make an oral submission?
Thank you, Chair. There have been no members of the public who have registered to make an oral submission for this application.
Thank you. Do any members of the committee wish to? So, yeah, any? Are there any other additional members of the public in attendance this evening to make an oral submission? Seeing none, do any members of the committee wish to comment or have any questions concerning the application? Steve?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Question for staff. In my past experience, there's always a definition within the zoning bylaw for public use. And the municipality is usually named in that definition as a public use, and usually you're exempted from the zoning bylaw. Is that not the case in Springwater? Because the municipality owns this property, why does it need to come through the committee for approval? Just a question for staff, just for curiosity. Thank you.
Staff?
I might need to talk to my colleague about this one if Deb can step in, possibly.
Yep, go ahead.
Thank you, Steve. That's a good comment. We do allow public uses and there is subject to different zoning provisions. In this case, it is a shipping container, which is a defined use in the zoning bylaw. So we did apply it for this property. The institutional zone does allow shipping containers, but it's specific that it has to be in the rear yard. So that's why the variance was required.
Thank you. Do any members of the committee wish to comment or have any, did I just say that? Any questions concerning the application? I think I just said that, didn't I? May I have a motion from one of the committee members of application A18-24? Henry?
Make a motion that we accept the proposal put forth with any recommendations put forth by the township staff. Thank you.
May I have a seconder? Steve? The Committee of Adjustments, having given consideration to the applicable provisions of Section 45 of the Planning Act, the official plan of the Township of Springwater, the characteristics of the land in question and its surrounding as addressed in the planning report on application dated June 26, 2024, the correspondence received and information presented at the hearings held on June 26, 2024, and the discussion on the matter hereby approve application A18-24. All in favor? Carried. Application number 4, will the Secretary Treasurer please introduce the next application, item number 4.4 on the agenda?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 4.4 on the agenda is consent application B12/24 submitted by B. Dokanish regarding lands known municipally as 2500 Highway 26. The purpose and effect of the consent application is to obtain approval to sever one residential lot consisting of approximately 0.67 hectares with an approximate lot frontage of 45.72 meters on Highway 26. The applicant proposes to retain approximately 0.67 hectares with an approximate lot frontage of 45.72 meters on Highway 26.
Have any additional correspondence and or comments been received?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, comments have been received from the drainage superintendent stating the property is assessed into a municipal drain. The Ministry of Transportation stating the property does not meet the minimum 250 meter pre-severance frontage requirements for severances with a mutual access. The Severn Sound Environmental Association stating no concerns. The Roads and Fleet Manager stating no concerns. Nottawasaga Valley Conservation Authority stating no concerns. The County of Simcoe stating the property is located within the agricultural designation and that the proposed severance does not meet the agricultural policies of the PPS nor county official plan, and Hydro One stating no concerns.
Can I please have the applicant introduce themselves and provide comment, if any?
Good evening. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Good evening, Chair, members, and committee and staff. My name is Baz Dukanish. I'm the owner of 2500 Highway 26 property that is brought to you forward today in regards to the severance application. I just had asked if possible if the site plan can be presented, if that's okay. Just gives a little bit more of an illustration of the intent, a bit of the background of the subject property.
I can do that. Just give me one moment before I share my screen.
Thank you. And while you do that, I'll just give a little bit of a brief with regards to this application. Sorry, are you sharing it or am I sharing the site plan? Okay, perfect. Thank you. I had also hoped that the justification brief that was submitted, members of staff and committee, you guys have taken a chance to read in regards to the details of what I'm presenting today. The intent of the application is primarily in keeping the existing use as agricultural. So we're not looking into using it as any other type of uses and not creating any other type of intensification, but in fact providing a means of sustainable living, the land security and sense of farm and organic community lifestyle. These lands were purchased with an existing dwelling, separate garage, work shed, and rundown barn, all of which used as a residential proper with no means of utilizing the agricultural uses since 1950s or even before. The subject lands have been in the same use and similarly along the entire Highway 26 corridor. So further east and west of the subject property, it really is in the same use. It's no different from this. Further this, basically the southeast corner of these lands you'll find off of Vesper Valley Road is more of a residential setting, which at some point had foregone severances off agricultural lands, but instead created more of a dense lot side by side. So the intent here, I'm not looking into doing anything of that sort. It's basically just providing more means of using the same use. So in other words, I'm not looking into doing the same, as I said, but simply providing an approximate 2-acre lots, utilizing the same entrance off Highway 26, as you can see today. So basically just a single common entrance that is which is existing, that is not being changed. The whole reason behind this is that the historic rise of basically living in struggles of the economy may sound like a broken record to you folks, but mentioning affordability living and translates into housing and can be taken for many uses other than residential zoning. And that is why this application provides means as such. It is key to be able to provide affordability not only from a government level, but also individuals and property owners levels as well. So this is really basically what I'm looking at to do. As such, the reuse of the agricultural lands for sustainable agricultural living provides an opportunity to address these matters, which will only get worse as we already witnessed today, particularly in the areas where land prices are too high. By utilizing the existing agricultural lands, it can potentially offer more affordability options to individuals, families, and may otherwise struggle to find affordable housing. I understand that the policy does not support my application, but perhaps the policy within itself and the PPS is undermining what we are experiencing in today's market. As you all know, that the PPS was basically just updated, and prior to updating throughout the commenting period, there were revisions in terms of really looking at agricultural lands. However, it was taken away. As I said, affordable housing is always a hot topic, but what we've done as governments, individuals, and developers to address this matter. So nothing has really been done to address this, really just kind of putting more red tape around that. In conclusion, if the committee accepts the application today with conditions, it will indeed provide a better means of sustainable living, community development, and most importantly, the preservation of agricultural lands with economic opportunities. So again, we're looking at using the lands as is. We're not looking into using any other type of use in that sense and giving that organic lifestyle. And that is really it from my end today. I'm here for any questions or any further discussions about this.
Thank you. Are there any members of the public registered to make an oral submission?
Thank you, Chair. There have been no members of the public who have registered to make an oral submission for this application.
Thank you. Are there any additional members of the public in attendance this evening to make an oral submission? Thank you. Do any members of the committee wish to comment or have questions concerning the application? Steve?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, I appreciate the applicant's presentation. Provincial policy, county policy, town policy, these policies are in place to preserve agricultural lands, try and preserve the lot sizes as large as they can. The application as proposed, doesn't meet those requirements. As well as with a single driveway as well. Who looks after this? Is it the county or the province? So they'd have to go through the province for an entrance, and it's pretty difficult to get additional entrances from provinces on their roads when they're outside of settlement areas. So I think there's a lot of hurdles that this proposal is going to have to jump over. But unfortunately, the PPS and trickle all the way down from the province all the way down to the municipal level, the planning policies don't support the application. And as well as, the province, even with the transportation network, and not gonna, I think he'd have difficulty, even if the committee were to approve this, difficulties getting another entrance onto the property. And quick question for staff, what is the minimum lot size for a hobby farm? 2 hectares?
Thank you. Through you, Chair Committee Member Farquharson, the Township of Springwater does not allow hobby farms.
Okay.
Any agricultural lot would be a minimum size of 35 hectares. And sorry, just to comment on the MTO. The MTO was circulated the application and comments were submitted that they would not support it.
Okay. That's everything for me, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other member? Henry?
Yeah, I can't support this application either for all the reasons that Steve had said. I mean, it's been agriculture all the time, and the property got sold and for I'm going to say a large price, and that price was put on by the people who bought it. So anyways, there's no way that I can support this application as presented.
Thank you. Any other members of the committee?
I just like
Brad?
that. Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. I just like that. I'm glad Steve spoke first. He said most of my points, if not all, far more eloquently than I could.
Thank you. Mike?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I agree with the other comments as well. I won't support this, or I can't support this, based on the information available.
Thank you. Baz, I saw your hand up. Did you have another comment?
No, I just wanted to clarify with regards to entrance MTO. I understand again the policy, and I will not further to comment on that. But in terms of entrance, just there's a misunderstanding. The entrance is staying as is. There is an existing entrance as we speak today. So there is no other entrance permit that needs to be done for this property. But I understand that's one of the elements of many. So I just want to clarify that to the committee.
Thank you. May I have a motion from one of the committee members for application B12/24? Henry?
I make a motion that we do not accept the application as presented. So I vote not to accept it.
May I have a seconder? Steve? that the Committee of Adjustments, having given consideration to the applicable provisions of Section 53 of the Planning Act, the official plan of the Township of Springwater, the characteristics of land in question and its surrounding as addressed in the planning report on application dated June 26, 2024, the correspondent received and information presented at the hearing held June 26, 2024, and the discussion on the matter hereby denied application B12/24. All in favor? Carried. May I have a mover and a seconder to adjourn this meeting? Steve and Mike? That the Committee of Adjustments meeting held on June 26, 2024 now does adjourn at 6:31 PM. All in favor? Carried. Thank you.